So again, I want to send out condolences to them. We're going to go ahead and get started. As far as the state of our county, we have received another ERAP funding in the amount of about $6.5 million for emergency rental assistance program. So we want to begin to get that going. We are beginning to really maximize the efficiency of that process and getting it out there. We are implementing an impact fee advisory board. I have 2 appointments to those boards. So anyone that is interested in being on an impact advisory board, please let me know. We're looking for folks that have a background in construction management, that know real estate, that know those ins and outs. We're looking at creating impact fees, which will help our county tremendously in development moving forward. We also have that Roman United project that a lot of you have heard about on Highway 54. That has been approved and they will begin submitting some more plans. So hopefully that's going to go off as planned. Our design status and update for our new government building. We're having that at a work session here on Tuesday. So if you all want to come out and be involved in that to hear about our new government building. What else do we have here? And those are the ones we want to hit on. We want to get straight to it though. Let's go with Captain Flynn. You there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Let's go with the most important guy in the room right now. Let's go.
I don't know about all that, Commissioner, but we'll roll with it anyway.
There we go.
All right. So as far as crime for the last several weeks, actually, Sector 4 has been doing really well. Particularly 2 weeks ago, I would say that's probably one of the lowest crime stats that I've seen in my time as the precinct commander for the last 2 years. Everything was very much down to the point that I think we only had 1 burglary. We've kind of bounced back up a little bit this week. The only thing I will kind of add as far as this week's was 2 of them were actually people that were known to the victim. It was situations where there were some type of disturbance or dispute over some things and people broke into people's property to take things. The trend that I know it's like a broken record, but that we continue to see is property being left in vehicles, with the vehicles being left unsecure, particularly at gas stations. And the other one that I've seen several times over the last several months is Home Depot. People leaving valuables in their vehicles, leaving the vehicle unlocked and going inside to go shopping, and then when they come out, that stuff is gone. And then the other one is vehicles left running outside of gas stations. That's another thing that we continue to try to ask people to please turn the car off, take their keys with them when they go into these gas stations, because I don't know what it is about it, but it seems like every time somebody leaves a vehicle outside a gas station and leaves it running, somebody jumps in it and takes off. And then of course, the tragic situation with the little 7-year-old girl on Terra Boulevard. Across the county here lately, it seems like we've been having a lot of pedestrians in various locations and neighborhoods and on busy thoroughfares that are being struck. The central thing to most of those, obviously, I'm not referring to the situation with the 7-year-old, but people aren't crossing at crosswalks. They're just, taking risks and crossing at places that they probably shouldn't be crossing. So, just ask that if there are pedestrians, to please try to use the crosswalks and be attentive there. And also, if you're driving in these areas where tend to be a lot of pedestrians up around Mount Zion, on Terra Boulevard in that area, just use caution when you're driving. That's pretty much what I have, Commissioner, as far as Sector 4.
Great. Well, big thing is we got crime is down, and that's always a plus in our neighborhoods. Our hearts go out for that 7-year-old that was struck. We've got to, as a government, do a better job in increasing our pedestrian safety throughout the community. We do have one, I was at the end, but I'll bring that up. Fielder Road Bridge fencing agreement is being in place. So we're looking at there towards Highway I-75, getting a bridge over there. That's a little dangerous area as well. So we are working, and I'm working diligently on anything that comes into District 4 in implementing sidewalks and lighting to increase the pedestrian safety. I think that is our obligation, and we owe that to the citizens of Clayton County.
No, Davis.
Yes.
This is Judy Taylor.
Good
I just
morning.
wanted, good morning, how are you?
I'm good.
I just wanted to, like with Captain Flynn, since he's been talking, the only issue we've been having is people are shooting guns. They were shooting them down at the end of one of our streets and over towards Georgetown Commons and over towards Summerwind, evidently, and someone had them actually on video. At least 7 young people running around over there and shooting guns over around Summerwind, right across on the other side of Terra Boulevard. Do we have a bad gang situation in here, or what's going on with all the guns and everything right now?
I'll let Captain Flynn address that.
Okay. We do have gangs in the county. Can't speak as to specifically whether the incidents that you're referring to are specifically gang related. Obviously guns are readily available, and one of the things that we have repeatedly harped on, and again, it sounds like a broken record, is people not leaving guns in their vehicles and things like that, because that's where a lot of these weapons actually wind up coming from, is they're being stolen from vehicles that are left unsecure, or even vehicles that are secure where their vehicles or guns are being left in them. Like I said, those specific instances, I can't say whether or not they're directly gang related or not.
Understand. Thank you. And Mr. Taylor, we've got to realize that we've got to do a better job at us families policing our own children and those inside our houses as well. These guns they can fire these guns, but once that sound is gone, where did it come from? We put our law enforcement at a very precarious situation to go out and try to look for that. So we just want to begin this. I like to always say, let's police our households first, and hopefully we can begin to minimize the impact on our community with that. Anyone else do we have our other?
Lieutenant Cofield is on.
Is Lieutenant Cofield there? Lieutenant Cofield?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. You want to add anything for your area?
No, Captain Flynn pretty much covered it. I mean, guns are too readily available right now. People are getting them stolen from their vehicles. It's almost, an everyday occurrence that we're going to run across somebody with a gun on their person. We just have to, be more, have citizens be a little more responsible, especially a lot of them are getting guns from getting stolen out of their vehicles and everything. So we have to be a little more responsible, and we have to keep up our progress out here on the road, trying to take them off of the road.
Great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Chief Roberts.
Good morning, District 4. I guess I will go ahead and close the gun safety discussion and put a loop on it. Every time I come before you for the last couple of months, I've been talking about that exact problem, as our gun thefts relate directly to our violent crime. And we often see those guns used in crimes all the way up to our homicides, which sit now at 35 for this year compared to 28 the same time last year. But what we find is 74% of the people involved know each other. 45% of these incidents are disputes between known parties. These are not stranger on stranger crimes. So as the commissioner indicated, a great solution, we have a great police department and we have a great community, and we have to work together to encourage responsible gun safety, securing your guns in lock boxes if you're gonna leave them in the car. But your chief encourages you to take your gun with you and not leave it in the car at all. Same thing with the valuables as we approach our holiday season. If you're leaving purses, guns, iPads, cell phones, any place visible in your vehicle, we're finding that our suspects are seizing opportunity to take those items quickly. So the best way for us to fight that is to keep them out of sight and secure our weapons. With that being said, what are we doing as an agency to help fight violent crime? I think I came before you during our last meeting and I talked about a collaborative unit comprised of city police officers and county police officers. That unit has been active in the county for about 5 weeks now, and it has the moniker CAGE. It is your CAGE unit, and CAGE stands for Criminal Apprehension and Gang Enforcement. And thus far, for 5 weeks, they have been able to effect 124 arrests and take 32 guns off the streets in 5 weeks. And actually, It was 14 just last week. So we find that platform to be effective. And as we get our numbers up, I will continue to communicate with the other chiefs to see if we can expand that footprint to get an even better hold on crime in the county. In addition to CAGE, we've implemented our public safety ambassador program in both the CAGE unit and our public safety ambassador positions were approved by our board of commissioners who support us in our effort to reduce crime. And our public safety ambassadors are non-sworn individuals who do not respond to crime-related issues, but they respond to those issues in lieu of our uniformed personnel responding. So any reports that need to be taken that do not relate to crimes, or a need to direct traffic where there's no danger, or just a need to respond to a call where there's no danger and there's no need for sworn officers, these non-sworn personnel are responding and active today to take on that task. And it also provides a platform for them to prepare, because a few of them are under the age of 21 and they aspire to be police officers. Through this public safety ambassador position, they establish a foundation and learn about law enforcement without putting themselves in harm's way. But when they reach that age and they make the decision that they want to transition, they can. And finally, as we embrace technology, I know I've spoken to you before, we're in the final stages of procurement for the Fusus platform, and that's a camera platform that allows you, the community, to share your residential and your business cameras with the police department so that we can get real-time crime information. We've already seen the benefits of this platform used elsewhere in the city of Atlanta and other agencies, but more specifically touching home with our officer that was shot and injured on that date. The suspect entered a vehicle and traveled northbound into the city of Atlanta, and Atlanta was able to engage that suspect so quickly because they were able to find her using a flock camera attached to their Fusus system. So I anticipate great results when we finalize standing that system up to aid us in reducing crime. And if you're wondering about Officer Lloyd, the officer I just spoke about, I had the opportunity to visit her Monday. She is recovering well. She's speaking and she's rehabbing and working on her mobility. So let's keep her up in prayer to get her back to 110%. Lastly, I know that we have some events coming up in October that I want to invite you to. Our Faith in Blue weekend starts October 7th at the Clayton County Police Department headquarters. It'll be Friday, October 7th from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We will have our equipment out, our staff there, food and games for the children, and we'll be there with our faith-based partners to meet the community, come out, build relationships, exchange information. Let's have a good time. The following day, Saturday, October 8th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., we'll have a community panel that you're welcome to come out and listen and engage and provide your input. Once again, at the Clayton County Police Department headquarters, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Come out and share. Let us know what you see as a community that we need to be doing more of to keep everybody safe. And with that, I believe we had a coffee with the chief event a few weeks ago. It was at the Chick-fil-A in Stockbridge. It was well received. Thank you for coming out. But we will have one more to end the year sometime either in November or December with the location to be determined. If you would, just stay tuned on our Facebook page and our website. And with that, Commissioner, I'll take any questions that may be out there.
All right. Any questions for Chief Roberts? Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Okay. What I want to ask Chief Roberts, what can we do to get some speed breakers in a community that I live in the Camelot subdivision,
Yes, ma'am.
and a lot of times people come off of Tar Boulevard trying to avoid the light and the traffic. And there's a stop sign down there on the corner of Camelot Parkway and King Arthur. They never stop for that. They roll through there like it's a roadway. And we have children that's in that community, and I'm afraid that somebody's gonna get killed in that community because of the speed. I mean, people really roll through there. Matter of fact, on August the 9th, a truck came down, hit a car, pushed the car all the way down into the front of my neighbor's yard. And since I've been living there, we've had several incidents where cars come around that stop sign and roll down through there, hit my neighbor's mailbox, come through my yard and go out through my next neighbor's yard. And we need something in that community to stop that speed that's going on in that community. I have grandchildren that play out there in the yard. I'm afraid to even let them play in the front yard because of the speed. So is there anything we can do to slow these folks down?
First step, I know the captain is on screen, he's probably written that down. And our first step as an agency will be to send some patrols through there. He also has access to a speed detection sign that's mobile that we can erect as long as there's signage in the area to fix the sign too. Secondly, he has the option of doing some road checks in the area. Since you made us aware of that issue, and I'm confident that he may want to follow up and provide some insight. Additionally, you spoke about speed bumps or speed humps. I know historically the county has been reluctant to move in that direction due to liability concerns. And I'm thinking that there's a study that the commissioner may be familiar with that's ongoing through transportation and development. But also I wanted to add, there's a procedure for communities to make requests for speed calming devices that should be posted on the transportation and development page of the county website, where a certain percentage of the community has to agree. And then there's, I believe, an assessment that's done by T&D to see what's most effective in your community. So I would encourage you to move that way. And the commissioner may or may not want to add anything in reference. I think there's a study ongoing. Am I mistaken?
There is. Well, Chief, I want you to add one thing, because a lot of folks are aware of the speed detection devices, that the mobile ones you spoke about.
Mhm.
Can you tell them why they're put out there and what kind of information is collected from those?
And actually, the purpose is to encourage folks to slow down by making them aware of the speed, but it also lets us know if there's actually a speeding problem. It calculates the speeds, is able to produce a report for our commanders to review. It also gives them the times that most speeding is taking place. Thus, they can supplement the sign with manpower resources to reduce those speeds.
Thank you. Thank you. Because we see those and many times we don't know the information that's collected. And that's valuable information that the chief can begin to use and his department can begin to use to facilitate some sort of a ramification to those issues. So we have that. Do we have, let's keep moving on. Code enforcement. Anyone from code enforcement on?
Yes, sir. This is Helen Cawthorn.
Yes, Ms. Helen, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You want to go ahead and speak to the community on our code enforcement, what's been going on and what we're planning to do as well?
Hi, I am Officer Supervisor Cawthorn. I'm over the District 4 area. Right now, we have 312 open cases in District 4. I'm sure there's more. We need our people out there to be our eyes and give us a call or use Click Clayton to report these violators, so that, because it's impossible to get in every neighborhood,
Correct.
every street in the whole district. If nobody have any questions for me, we also have Officer Davis, who is with the Commercial Code Enforcement Division.
Supervisor Cawthorn, this is Judy Taylor. You're familiar with all of my issues that I'm always bringing to your attention in Sherwood Forest, particularly one issue that is on Doncaster Road with a house that no one has been at for, I guess, a long, long time. And they bought the house and paid a lot of money for it. Now it just sits there and no one has cut the grass since in July and everything too. You can imagine what the grass is like and everything too. But because it's a vacant property, they're given way more time, in other words, in order to reach the owners, to send letters and do all of that. I think there's something needs to be looked at, and it's not from code because you're following the policies that you have. But I would love for the commissioners or someone to look at why these people are given so much time. The man next door to him that lives in his house, he might get 5 days before somebody comes back and looks again. This person has had all the way since late in July, and everything has not cut the grass, and it's been bad for a long time. He gets 30 days, and then you send letters, and if you don't hear from them, you have to wait and do and all those things. They just get way too much time when this is vacant property. There needs a way to keep up with these people to make it easier to find the owners, because sometimes it's hard to get the letters to them. They list that as being their residence, so the letter's probably sitting in their mailbox where nobody comes over there. And I think they sent a letter to the mortgage company and to people like that. But the grass is really high. When they cut the grass in July, they left bags of trash over there. You can imagine what it's like now in the rain and everything else too. I'm just hoping, because I think they're scheduled maybe Monday, possibly, for somebody to come back over there and look at the property again. I just think we just give these people that are vacant and they don't stay here and they don't care about the neighborhoods too much time to clean up their property and everything else too. And then, of course, I'm always complaining, as you well know, about the Tara Woods apartments, trying to get those burn units taken down or remodeled, because people are having a hard time. The person right across from there is wanting to sell their house. He said every time somebody comes along and looks, they like his house supposedly, but they look over there and see the burnout apartments and what that looks like. And he thinks that's the reason why possibly that he's having a hard time selling his house. It affects the property values when they take somebody told me it takes like 2 years we give people. Isn't that a long time when they have a burnout units just sitting over there and looking like they do? Anyway, thank you so much for what you do. I know you look after us and I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm the one that told you about the 2 years, and that's the international property maintenance code that the county adopted to follow. It does state that a property has to sit in that position for 2 years before the county can actually take action against them. But I'm going to let Officer Davis speak on Tara Woods because he's very familiar with them. However, Doncaster, yes, they do have a follow-up date of this week. We do have a time that we have to give them because of having to send the notices via certified mail. They have to have time to receive that mail and time to respond to what we're asking them to do before the county can step in and clean the property and place a lien against this property. Okay, Officer Davis.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we hear you.
Good morning, everyone. I want to speak specific on Tara Woods, 661 Sherwood Drive, that we all know we've had dealings with for the last 10 years. We wrote them numerous tickets to Code Board, but what has happened great is that about 3 weeks ago, Officer Gibson, who works residential, was able to catch the owner of the property. By catching the owner of the property, we're going to send him to magistrate court. So he was issued 2 citations, one for they had some sewage drainage, and also we have a pothole that's in the middle of the driveway. So she was able to write 2 citations for him to go to magistrate court. We have 13 open cases in Sherwood right now. When he goes to court in October, I'm going to be there that same day. I'm going to issue him 3 additional citations to magistrate court. One thing about magistrate court, it's a little bit different from commercial court, where he has to attend, or if not, he can be given a failure to appear warrant and made him to come back to court. So right now we're dealing with 13 open cases there, from sewage, potholes. The 3 cases I have are roof cases where they have issues with the roofs and gutters and also the soffits. So we're working Tara Woods hard, and I'm just glad this time we were able to catch the owner of it. We have his ID. I have a copy of his ID, and we're going to hold him responsible. A lot of times we get the property manager who doesn't own the property. She just works for the property. We wanted to own, and we finally was able to come through. He usually come through the first of the month, and this time Officer Gibson was able to catch him. And I'm going to get him October 20th when he makes his first court appearance in court.
Officer Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, this is Judy Taylor again. I'm usually, me and a lot of other neighbors complain about this, but I also noticed that, there's a fence between that property and the gas station up there. And somebody has sprayed some bushes, and it looks like the people from the apartments might have sprayed the bushes with something to kill some bushes, but the bushes right behind there are still there, and they stick out sort of like they grow on the apartment property, but they're sort of blocking when people come in and out of the apartments up there too. And then down on the bottom exit, when they come out, they are blocking when they enter back out onto Sherwood there too, bushes all down in there too. I just wondered if you could get them to cut those back. Now they sprayed them, but they left them, and they're just big, tall, dead bushes on their properties, not for refuge control or anybody else to do. It's for them to take care of. They just will not look up, take care of the trash and the mess up behind that fence that belongs to the apartments. And that's bad because Sherwood, our entryway passes right down by there by all the bushes and the burned out apartments and everything. And I appreciate so much what you're doing. This is very promising. I can't believe that something might actually happen now. So this is great that you're doing that. And thank you so much for the follow-up.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Yeah, I've dealt with you for years, and I know I have your number, and we're fortunate that we finally got hold to the owner so we can hold him liable and responsible for his own property that he gets paid for. So, but I will take a look at that issue with the bushes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Officer Davis. And Ms. Taylor, also let me let you and a lot of others know, the state has mandated that we cannot keep a database of apartment owners and things of that nature. That is not county, that is state. ACCG, we just met this week as I'm the chair of the Economic Development and Transportation Committee for the state, and we're looking at supporting an initiative to begin to create some kind of database where we can track these folks to begin to, I can't say eliminate, but to mitigate some of these issues that we're having. Our code enforcement is doing one heck of a job. And I know everybody from police to code enforcement to even folks under many others under Warden Nelson are having a hiring shortage. You want to speak to that quickly, Warden Nelson? How many folks you need? And if they know somebody looking to work, willing to work?
We are definitely open for business and open to hire some folks. We're running about 25% short in our refuse control staff, and we're running a little over 20% short in our prison staff. We're doing the best we can to get people hired. I don't know what it is, why people don't want to come to work. I don't have that luxury. I do need to come to work. To put it into perspective, every officer that we're short on the outside detail, that's 12 inmates that are sitting in the prison that should be out picking up trash and walking on the side of the street and cutting grass. So we're trying the best we can to get people hired into the prison. Then once we get them trained, and sometimes that involves sending them out for 5 weeks of required state training, then we can push out seasoned officers to take these inmate crews out again. Code enforcement, we're in a little bit better spot. We might get 1 or 2 vacancies, but they typically fill pretty quick. I'm real proud of what everybody has done to try to keep up with this. The rain has not been our friend, the staffing shortages, but we're getting to these projects. We're getting to them. Sometimes it's not as quick as we'd like. We have 740 miles of roadway that we cut, and then you double that because you go both directions. So you could see as soon as we get through cutting grass and we're down on another end, it's grown up again. But code enforcement is doing a remarkable job. I believe they've made over 10,000 cases this year so far. And that comes out to probably between 2,000 and 3,000 cases per district. So they're working really hard in refuse control to keep us going. Let us know when there's a problem. I talk to Ms. Taylor all the time, and we appreciate that she's a good watchdog for the community. Let us know, and we will get it taken care of as quickly as we possibly can.
Great. Thank you, Warden Nelson. And let me just add, that's one of the things we need. We our police department, our fire, everyone here, we're operating in a proactive way. And we need your eyes, your ears, your mouths to tell us, hey, this is what's going on here in my neighborhood. They can't get around to everybody to monitor, but you all have to be the monitor. And once you moved here, we swore you in. So it's time to get it moving. So I want to thank all of them for what they do. What else do we have next? We got code enforcement. Has Troy come on for Parks and Recs? Or anybody from Parks and Rec? Yes.
I'm not sure if this is code enforcement or refuge. Who deals with the trash, garbage on the streets?
Well, Ward, do you want to address that trash on the streets? Who's dealing with that?
That is handled by refuse control. And we encourage you to keep using Click Clayton or making those phone calls in there. We get crews out there as quickly as we can. We're having a big problem with dumping.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we involve code enforcement too. That's one good thing about all of us being under one department is code enforcement helps. If they see trash on the side of the road, we go through the bags. They physically go through the garbage bags that are thrown on the road looking for any piece of information that might lead us to who dropped that bag off there. And we have actually made several citations to people. But refuse control is ultimately responsible for cleaning the dumping areas and also cutting the grass. And we use primarily inmate labor and then refuse control staff to get that job done.
And those, I've gotten emails from those that have called me on trash, and they've gotten out there pretty quick to get that. We had one on just the other day, Ward Nelson, Jodico, one on Mount Zion, and then one up towards Valley Hill. And we've gotten to those within a day. So I want to thank you for what they're doing.
it just
Yes.
looks like people are just, I'm not sure if they're just throwing stuff out the window.
I think that's what
throwing
they're doing.
bags and stuff out, but you just see all of this paper just, and
Exactly.
it's horrible over on Jodico, like over the bridge.
We just,
around by Zion.
Warden, you just picked out that yesterday, wasn't it? The one, she's talking about the Jodico Bridge?
Yes, sir. They should have been out there yesterday to address Jodico and also Mount Zion. We may have to finish up some at the beginning of next week because the rain kind of caught us. And,
Yes.
you know, the mowers work, but when you're cutting wet grass, if you've ever done that with your yard, it just clogs them up. And so we have to wait for it to stop raining, and we get out there as quick as we can. But we address those areas. We started them right away, and I think we're done on both of those streets, but if not, they
Great.
will be done probably Monday or Tuesday.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
And yeah, I have concern too, because on Camelot Parkway, they have up at the beginning, it's an isolated area. And they dump trash there, and all of that property there needs to be cleaned up. And I was wondering, I know the prisoners would come out sometime and they would pick up the trash along that beginning of Camelot Parkway. And it needs to be looked at a lot because they have turned that into a dump site.
We'll put that on the list and to begin to look at.
Commissioner, I will have somebody out there Monday to check on Camelot Parkway, and we'll get that addressed right away.
Great, thank you. We have one more question back here.
Also, I have concerns with that Battle Creek, right, to be cut there as well.
The Battle Creek, right there at
There's
South Lake Parkway?
Battle Creek, yeah.
Yes,
By Terra Stadium.
yes.
Overgrown.
Yeah, I put that on the list in the rain, and then it started raining. And again, like you said, we can't get out there and cut. I don't want them out there cutting the rain. It just looks sometimes even worse than that. So we'll get on that as well. Great, thank you. And that's what we need. Ward Nelson, anything, anybody else from Ward Nelson's staff, code enforcement? Refuse, we're good? All
If
right,
you have any questions, I will put my contact information in the chat window, as well as the contact information for Captain McDonald, who's over code enforcement, and Captain Gooden, who's over refuse control. You can contact us directly if you have any questions or concerns.
great. You want to Do you all need that number? Want that number now? Can you give that number? We've got folks in here that aren't online, they're in person. If you can just give that number, then we can put it in the chat as well.
Will do. Oh, let me get that
No problem.
information and I will, I'll get it right out to you.
Great, thank you. Also, let me give you an update. Our Spivey Splash Pad was a huge success. It was utilized by, let's just say, a lot of folk, and it went well. We did have some hiccups, which we resolved, and we expected that. But for the most part, it has been very advantageous and a strong statement to those outside of Clayton County on who we are, what we are, and where we're going. So I love it. I want to give Troy Hodges and his staff a big kudos on what they've done. They've kept it clean. Give kudos to PD. We've had our incidents in there have been extremely low in spite of the numbers that have come through there. So I'm happy. The traffic, the first week, the traffic, we just say hit a snag and they worked and rectified it. So we've just had minimal traffic issues over there going on. I think folks understand how to use that park. I believe it's going to be an asset in the future. The big thing for me is what they're doing now is creating a report so that we understand the maintenance of the facility. How do we keep it looking brand new? And that's what we want to do for everybody. We've got some issues as far as cabanas goes and shortages, and we're looking at rectifying those for next season. So I want to say thank you all that have come out. Thank you all for supporting this initiative, and we're going to look to better it in other facilities in Clayton County. Also, too, over at the Lake Spivey Rec Center, we had, I guess, we'd gotten some calls about the water being off in the dog parks for you all that utilize that. That water has now been on, and we definitely have it back on now. So your dogs will not go thirsty. Okay. What else do we have?
I had a question.
Yes.
About the inside. Who's supposed to be manning that concession stand in the front? Like, I'm talking about inside of the restaurant.
Yes.
Because every time I go in there, there's never anybody there, and I'm wondering, how is that?
They just changed the vendor in there. The vendor is getting set up now. I believe they've been open now the last 2 weeks, moving with some consistent hours. So check on that and see. But if you all go in there and use that facility, one of the things I like folks to let us know is how clean it is. We did have an issue in one of the bathrooms, which has since been rectified. They just pressure washed the small patio area outside. So we're looking at really trying to keep our facilities top notch and cleaner than clean around here. Any other questions about the rec centers or parks in general? Okay. No questions online? All right. Ward Nelson, do you have those numbers? You want to chime in yet? Just let me know when you want to.
Yes, sir. Refuse control, the direct line is 770-477-3548. It is also in the chat window. And the division commander is Captain Angela Gooden. And I will also provide the email address. Actually, her email address is angela.gooden, Gooden, at claytoncountyga.gov. And code enforcement, the complaint line is 678-610-4755. And Captain Sean McDonald is the division commander. And his email is Sean, SEAN.McDonald, MACDONALD at claytoncountyga.gov.
Everyone have that? Good. Great. Thank you, Warden. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Moving down, we're getting time for you all just to discuss your question and answers, or question and get answers, I should say. Let's open it up. Anybody online have questions? Anybody in the audience have questions for any of our staff? Anything you want to see? going on. Let me begin that first of all, before you chime in, I forgot about this one. We do have, let me pull up my notes here. Coming up for our zoning hearings, and I told you all I would begin to share these with you before. We do have a land use map that is going to be coming up. They want to put in on on Main Street in Jonesboro, a wood pallet processing and storage facility. So that's coming up for hearing on this coming Tuesday night. I'm sorry, I'm not this coming Tuesday night, it's work session, but our next board meeting. They'll be coming up for that. There's another one that will be coming up where they're looking at going from where they want us to rezone from mixed use to high density for 77 unit townhome development. That is on 950 Highway 138 in Jonesboro. So those are some of the zoning, those are two that are coming in our district here in District 4 that I wanted to share with you all. I will be meeting with them this week and going through it. But, you know, I love to hear from you all and what you all think of these matters. This is your community, not my community. And it's our community. And I do listen and take it all into account. So they've gone through all the recommendations, but we need to see what they're building, how they're building it, how it affects our schools. And also, like I said, our pedestrian safety, which is quite important, but also too, how does it impact our first responders? They're the ones that have to respond to issues that takes place in any development that we have, be it commercial or residential. So going from there, open up for questions. Yes, ma'am.
So this development, 950 Highway 138, is that in addition to the developments that are already coming up on Highway 38, right over there by Rand Road, and I don't know, buildings, the Stockbridge people are building stuff. Is this in addition to that?
This is in addition to, now let's go back. Let's start from Stockbridge. The Stockbridge, City of Stockbridge did approve, as many of you all have heard, did approve, I can't remember how many units it is, but they did approve a mixed use development over there. That's pretty large. The one on Rand Road has not been approved, for that. I do have some major issues which I have expressed with that, being over there and in vicinity to the opening of the water park and the Lakes Spivey Park. The one I'm speaking about, keep coming down 138 as we move towards, well, right past police headquarters. That's where they're looking at both the apartment and the pallet processing. You know what I'm talking about, North Main? Cross over the railroad tracks and head downhill, going away from police headquarters.
So I've heard it said at these meetings, not this one, but the regular board meetings, that the county really needs more businesses coming in because that's what keeps the county running in terms of the revenue source
Our service.
and all of that. But why are they still, instead of using these properties for that purpose, bringing in businesses that's going to help to run the county, they keep bringing in all these apartments. And I understand there's a housing issue. I get that 100%. But you keep on bringing in all of these people, and I don't ever hear anyone say anything about, we're gonna build a new school. We're gonna build like an infrastructure that's gonna be needed to satisfy all of these people, because they're not coming in by themselves.
And I hear you loud and well there. One of the things we have to remember is a lot of these properties are private owned. Most of them are private owned. These are not publicly owned properties. So they're not, and I'll just be blunt with you, they're not in the business to say what's good for the county. They're in the business to say what's good for my pocket. So I understand that it's up to me and you all to say, no, we're not going to have it. Now, going back to your comment on we need more commercial, yes. We have, I believe, in my estimation, an unhealthy balance of commercial versus residential. Our residential taxes cannot pay for all the services needed that we supply in Clayton County. We do need more commercial. So we've got to begin to look at that. Now we have redone schools. Morrow was just completed, which is beautiful. Jonesboro High School was just completed, which is beautiful. We did complete, or Board of Education, a new school, the Michelle Obama School. So we have that. So we are upgrading our infrastructure. What I've done, any development that has come in, even the first market rate apartment buildings homes that we have had since 2005. Those have come in and they're coming online here shortly. But I mandated that they had street lamps and 8-foot wide sidewalks, not the traditional 4, but 8-foot wide. So anything that is going to crack a piece of concrete in Clayton County in District 4, we're going to make sure that they're putting sidewalks in. We've got to have some connectivity and pedestrian safety. Yes, we need to work on our commercial, and we are doing that. We are doing that. We have a small development going up on the corner of Mount Zion. I get these Mount Zions mixed up as long as I've been here. Mount Zion Boulevard and Mount Zion Road. Over there where the church is, they're putting a plaza in there that is going to be kind of an office and mixed use over there, just 2 levels. So we are doing that as well. I can't remember who made the recommendation, but I'm going to continue at all our community meetings to bring the zoning that are coming up in District 4 to make you all aware of it.
Okay, follow up.
Mhm.
The schools and the change and the remodeling that they're doing
Mhm.
is wonderful, but it has nothing to do with this area we're talking about here on 138. Cause are they building a new school over there? Cause they got Elite Scholars, they got Emily Roberts, they got, well, this area to me is just becoming overwhelmed with people.
Mhm.
And again, I get it about the housing issue, I do, cause I know that's a big problem, but the amount of money that they're gonna be charging people to live in these places, is that gonna satisfy? I mean, is that going to alleviate some of our homeless population? And it's probably not, because the amount of money that these people are charging is ridiculous.
Well, affordable is based on 1, your pocketbook, and 2, the area. What's affordable to you might not be affordable to me based on our incomes. 2, what's affordable in the Metro Atlanta area might not be what's affordable in, over down in Tifton County. So we've got to begin to recognize who we are, what we are, and begin to get some definitive definitions of that. Hear what you're saying, and I am looking at it personally to say, look, we've got to begin to control, because not always is density increase the way to go. Meaning we don't need to approve every apartment, townhome, or development that comes in. We've got to look at some alternative sources. We have any questions on, go ahead, one back here.
You said 138 in North Main Street.
This is for which one? Which one are you talking about? The townhomes or the pallet processing? That's 9479 South Main.
Okay, so what about the 138? I see something being built across the street from 138 and North Main Street, like I guess across the street from the plaza.
Right,
Across the street, like going like
Bank of America and all of that.
Bank of America.
Yes, there's been nothing that has been defined there. If they're cleaning, they can be cleaning it up, but there's been nothing for that just yet.
Okay. And when did that meeting begin?
This one is going to be,
20th?
what's the date? I don't even know the date. When's our next board meeting? It's the. Let's see. I have that date for the next board meeting. Our next board meeting is the 20th. Okay. And that's when the zoning, they're always the second board meeting of every month. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if we have any control or anything like that. My concern is these investors that's coming into our neighborhood
Mhm.
and buying these houses and putting some paint on them. Some of them are not even doing a complete renovation on these houses and sticking a high price on them. Cause there's a house built right across the street from me that they want $390-some thousand for it. I'm a retired person. My tax is gonna go up because if they sell that house for that amount, that's gonna really kill me.
That is the new business that's going on, where you have investors in a lot of these groups that are coming in and buying up neighborhoods and bringing them up. I can tell you, and I have no problem stating it, I am 100% against rent-owned developments. Clayton County is not built for that in our current state. It's not built for that. One thing I do want to do when I assess anything is to begin to look at, how do I protect your investment? I've got to protect your investment. Any development that comes in, they need to increase the value of your home, not decrease. So we've got to begin to look at it from that state. We do have to look at, and this is where tax commissioner and some other folks come in, which we're going to meet. We've got to be careful when homes go up too fast and too high. It does begin to affect our seniors and those on fixed incomes where they can't accommodate the increase in the new taxes. So there's a balancing act there that we have to look at, and I am aware of it and am heeding to that. Yes. Do we have anybody online?
Commissioner Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Judy Taylor again. I have a real concern about the development that's being proposed in Lake City, Morrow on 54 Highway, Jonesboro Road up there. I just cannot believe that this is going to take place up there. And the big concern I have is that this is so close to Reynolds Nature Preserve and that area where it's a beautiful area up in there. What if they come in there and they propose to build two 27-story condos, a 25-story luxury hotel, 7,500 amphitheater, all those things up in there? What if it all falls through? I'm not sure I'm trusting that they have the financing and everything. Let's try to fix it to where they cannot even tear up any property, take down any trees until we're definitely sure that they're able to follow through and actually complete the project. It'll be a disaster if they clear cut the property and then don't have the money to finish it and everything else too. It will ruin the entire area. I just have a real concern about this.
Yeah, the concerns have poured into me about it. I share your concerns. I am just saying that we need to monitor this project intimately and often. And I'll just leave my comments at that.
I have no question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to be annoying.
No.
So I've been sitting at these board meetings and I see where something comes up in front of the board and the people in the neighborhood clearly do not want that. But the commissioner is like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sign that, I'm gonna do it. If the people don't want it and the commissioner is signing off on it, that's a problem.
It is.
How do you stop that? Or as the people who live here in this community, like how do you, because obviously you said you don't want it, but they're still signing off on it like, yeah, we're gonna do this. What do we do about it?
Well, we can. There you go.
Vote.
Well,
Yeah, so
vote, that's one, but two, we've got to begin to make the commissioners aware. And I can honestly say, District 4, you all will make me aware. And I listen. The other thing we have to do is for a lot of these issues is, and I'm just going to be telling you, you all need to fight for this public comment to make it aware before the vote comes up. Now, I will let you know, if you begin to look at the agenda for next month, I have put on the agenda to move public comment back to the beginning. Back to the beginning. So we'll see how that goes.
So we having this conversation right now. This is District 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you hearing what we say about, you know, we have concerns about all of the development on 138, up the whole 138. And so when the board meeting comes and, you know, you guys and ladies are sitting up there and it comes up and people say yes and other people say no, like we still don't want that.
Exactly. And and I hate to say this, but once the commissioner votes it in, it's going to continue. The same way Ms. Taylor spoke about the Roman United project on Highway 54. It's outside of District 4, but regardless of those that did not want it, they now have the opportunity to make it go through. I believe this is my personal, with the history of Clayton County, the character of Clayton County and what it was and what it is now. Density control is one of my key issues. we cannot bring in, 50,000, 60,000 new residents, and our fire stays the same. Our PD stays the same. Our hospitals aren't upgraded. Our roads, sidewalks aren't upgraded. These to me are some common sense infrastructure points that we've got to begin to look at. And that's how I've looked at it. I'm looking at it from an infrastructure first. Now, we do have to, for me, the other part of it is we've got to upgrade some of our apartment homes. They're in horrible conditions. And I get calls on these about mold. You've heard Ms. Taylor speak of Tara Woods, Sherwood over there. We've got a couple of other ones, the Overlook. We can go on and on. Chief knows about these. Ward Nelson has heard about them as well. And we've got to begin to fix this. One, we can fix by eliminating it and throwing it out. Two, we can fix it by upgrading. Or three, redesign the area. Those are the only three ways to rectify any problem, to move forward with those. So we've got to begin to look at it from that way, from that standpoint. But I hear you all loud and clear. But we've got to ask ourselves what comes first here.
And who's
Card of
paying
the
for
horse.
this?
Bingo.
Like, that's the question. You need all this stuff done, but where's this money coming from? Because like property taxes cannot afford to maintain all that. You want to bring in all the new people, what you need, police, fire, schools, those people need to be paid.
Yeah.
And they need to be paid top dollar.
Correct.
Because inflation is crazy out here. So where are we gonna get the money from to pay these people? Because it can't just be from the people who live here.
Yes, and we rolled back our millage rate, just to let everybody know, our taxes did not go up. We rolled back the millage rate because the assessed value of the homes have gone up, which we have no control over. But we rolled back the millage rate to begin to, your taxes did go up a slight bit, but we didn't raise taxes. Online, anyone? I'm trying to jump back and forth and look at my laptop here. No more questions, no more concerns. I know there's a lot of concerns. There's just no questions today, huh? 11:57. There's one in the back. Go ahead.
I just want to thank you. We appreciate all that you do for this community.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I
And you
appreciate
as
that.
well, too. Appreciate
Yes, those are my big folks. I love to thank our first responders. They have done one heck of a job while putting their lives on the line. And again, my heart goes out to those two officers in Cobb County. They're doing the same thing Chief and his staff is doing. They just weren't able to go home that evening. And that's a disaster. And I heard one of the officers' mother on one of the stations talking about it. And one of the things that breaks my heart is a parent should never have to bury a child. And I don't care if that child is 38 years old. Okay, that's still somebody's baby.
I want to say thank you too, because I've seen more improvement with you being in position that I've seen since I moved to Clayton County.
Well, thank you.
And Chief Roberts, I know he's on top of things. You can contact him and he'll readily respond back to you. So I like that part too.
Well, when we work together, we can get a whole lot more done than running by ourselves. Anyone online?
Question for you.
Yes.
Can you have Chief Roberts, Public Affairs Officer, post the results of their task force activity so far on the Nextdoor website? Because there's a lot of chatter about how much crime there is in Clayton County and they're not seeing results. So he's got some results.
So we'll put it on the website, they can access.
Chief Roberts said he will be more than happy to do so, and he will put it on, not only that, but on his website.
Thank you.
Yes, and you're right. We got to begin to tell our own story.
Exactly.
If not, they're gonna tell a bad one on us.
Oh, they've been telling a bad one on.
Yeah, we've gotten hit a little bit. Yes.
I have a slide. Last time I was here, there was a slide back here about trash pickup. I think it was September 17th. Is that still?
Well, I don't know. Denise is not here today, and
I'll be on.
when you go with the specific detail person, I'm just not.
I'll be.
She keeps me in order. All right, so we'll look at getting that to you. All right. Any other questions before we end? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We do have, let me give you an update. I did talk about the Fielder Road Bridge fencing agreement that's coming up, so we're gonna get that through. Hopefully that's gonna help to increase some pedestrian safety along Fielder Road. I did go through the zonings. The other one is this, our October meeting will be canceled. Our October meeting will be canceled. I didn't have any control. I've got a 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock flight from San Francisco coming back to Atlanta. I don't think they'll let me use Wi-Fi on the plane for that meeting. Now, if some of you all have an in, I'll be happy to use it if you all know somebody at FAA that's gonna let me have that internet access. So we're gonna cancel that meeting for October, but we're going to reconvene in November. Now, if you all send emails or anything to Denise or myself stating you want to have a meeting other than that Saturday, let me know. I am more than happy to accommodate. Other than that, that's it. Everyone have a beautiful weekend. I don't know if it's still raining outside, but let's drive safe and let's go police our families. So Chief doesn't have to police them for us. You have a great day, great weekend.